Welcome to the Pit Check, your metal and hardcore news for the best new albums released each week. Get ready to get your jaw wired shut. Today we've got a ridiculously heavy-hitting start to 2026. We've got a bunch of up-and-coming hardcore and deathcore bands, a technical and melodic death metal band that you absolutely cannot miss, and even a little bit of Myspace metalcore. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do this every week. And let's get right into the reviews for this week's best new albums. 2026, it's starting to sound a lot like 2006. The throwback and Myspace metalcore band I Promised the World have released their latest self-titled EP. I Promised the World exploded onto the scene the last 2 or so years, and now they've signed to Rise Records, so this really is the 2000s all over again. I'm a big fan of this sound. The dry, harsh guitars, the sharp, abrasive vocals, the riffs and melodies that are both technical yet familiar, but without being pure nostalgia bait or outright rips of other songs. And of course, those classic 16th note breakdowns. Inject this straight into my bloodstream. I'm obviously biased because my music tastes clearly haven't changed since I was in high school, but this is a really fresh and fun new EP that kicks a ton of ass. And it's a great step forward for the Revivalcore genre as a whole, keeping things from getting too stale. Did you know members from Mindforce, Scarab, Simulacra, Gridiron, and Recycled Earth have a stupidly heavy side project? The New York hardcore crossover band Crush Your Soul has released their third album in only 3 years, literally once a year every January or February, titled Ice Water. Ice Water! It's like I'm drowning in ice water! Drink up. This shit is cold as hell. If you wanted an even angrier sounding Mindforce, or you just love the nastiest metallic riffs in your New York hardcore, you genuinely cannot go wrong with this one. There's also some sick features here from Missing Link, Malice at the Palace, Silver, and Boulevard of Death, and the album ends on this unexpected collab with Felons and Este Mac. And I think all of these different creative minds all hopping on the tracks together, whether it be features or the fact that this is a supergroup, really makes this feel just like a big jam session with a bunch of friends, just with a lot more sweat and crowd killing.
I was overweight and it was so embarrassing. Then I tried Hydroxy.
The Los Angeles-based slamming brutal death metal band Hydroxy has released their debut EP titled Steel is Truth. This is a short and sweet 5-song EP that just kinda hits the spot. You ever find those bands that aren't trying to be weird or try hard or doing gimmicks to go viral? They're just a straight shooter that knows exactly what they want to do and exactly how to do it. This is one of those bands. One thing I really have to commend here is their commitment to do this all practically. There's no flashy production, the drums aren't programmed doing octopus drumming. There's just a good-ass drummer, 2 guitars that shred both melodically and punishingly, a vocalist who's crushing it without needing layers of vocals and
being pitched down,
and a bassist who honestly I wish was cranked higher in the mix. I love bass. But all in all, I was pretty impressed with this one. It feels nice and refreshing because it just feels genuine. something smells of sulfur. The Las Vegas-based black and deathcore band of Sulfur is back with their sophomore album, Endless. This is a band with a lot of the now classic hallmarks of the modern symphonic and cinematic deathcore sound. You've got the disgustingly heavy breakdowns and the feral animal vocals. You've got the black metal tremolo picking and technical riffs and tons of like cinematic atmosphere and a somber but surprising emotional and personal core. This is an interesting album. Yes, it doesn't reinvent the wheel, not that it needs to, but it also incorporates a lot of like alt rock and even like power ballads alongside their deathcore, which sounded odd at first, but it kind of works. Someone said it sounds like dad deathcore, but honestly, is that such a bad thing? I think this is a really solid album, especially these monstrous features from Ingested, Carcosa, and Distant, which are particular highlights. But in general, it's a good, solid outing with plenty of delicious riffs, and despite the bleak atmosphere, they keep up all of the momentum and aggression on this album. To me, this album is like when you sit down to watch maybe like a Netflix action movie that you weren't really expecting much out of, but it ends up surprising you by kicking a ton of ass and having a lot more character and heart than you might expect. So, fun fact, this is actually our 1-year anniversary, officially, of posting pit check videos. That's so crazy. It feels like we've been doing this both for forever, but then also like we just started 2 months ago. Every single nice comment, message, or even tip, oh my god, you guys are crazy. Thank you so much. That's so fucking nice. Has meant the actual world to me, and I appreciate you guys like crazy. So, I'll keep doing my best to make each successive news report better and better than the week before. And I actually have a pretty cool new project that's coming out hopefully at the end of the month on this channel. You know, fingers crossed it's ready in time. Some of you said you wanted to hear me yap about more than just the news. So if you'll indulge me, I got inspired and started yapping. Anyway, thank you again for all of your support. It means the world to me. And let's get back into my recommendations for this week's best new albums. Even if you don't like melodic death metal, you've gotta check this one out. The Indiana-based death metal band Carrion Vael. This is my Carrion Vael, and this is my checked Vael. So stupid. Have released their latest album, Slay Utterly. If you look up the album cover, you'll see why I had to edit it. Also, there's 2 versions of the album cover, and I'm not sure which one is the censored one, but I can't show either of them. This is some top-tier death metal. It's got some of the most technical and impressive riffing and shredding with this just thick, oppressive atmosphere and just a relentless assault on your senses the entire time. If you love bands like the Black Dahlia Murder, Legion, maybe a little bit of Rivers of Nile, especially when they incorporate some like clean vocals, you're gonna want to check this one out ASAP. This is one that blends masterful songwriting with sheer brutality. And like Black Dahlia, I think fans of more brutal death metal or even deathcore will find a lot to love here. The California-based Myspace deathcore band Dynamite have released their debut album, Elluding Cosmic Destruction. This is a really interesting band. It's definitely got a lot of the gritty, abrasive Myspace deathcore vibes that we all know and love, a lot of great guitar work and As Blood Runs Black influence, and like them, have a sharp focus on the instrumentation and songwriting specifically. Where a lot of bands can lean into the chaos of Myspace deathcore, these guys lean into the talent. But the most surprising thing, and why I feel like it really needs to be on your radar, is this extremely unique atmosphere with a lot of these spacey and ethereal atmospheric vibes, but then also just some absolute face-pounding beatdown and deathcore breakdowns. This is another young band with a lot of potential. I caught some videos of them playing live on the Instagram from like a year ago, and even then, they know how to work a crowd, which bodes well for them. This is one you might want to keep your eye on for the future. This band name is so accurate right now. The Philly-based deathcore and beatdown hardcore crossover band Whole World Wept has released their latest EP, Guilt Trails. If you need an unbelievably angry way to cope with 2026, this should hopefully have you covered. I really liked their EP last year, Scorcher, but this one honestly took literally everything I loved from that release and doubled or tripled down on it. This has such a great blend of the nasty, slammy side of deathcore, but with a ton of these like beatdown hardcore and brutal death metal influences, whether it be these more up-tempo, two-stepping segments or these just life-ending breakdowns. This was the kind of energy I needed right now.
We risk capital, we don't risk people.
I also like that they're willing to like experiment outside the genre a little bit. They've got some killer features here from Skrilla, and especially one of my favorite slam bands right now, Orbital Gate, which, not to get off track, but holy crap, Orbital Gate's output is insane. They just keep putting out music nonstop, and it's literally all so good. So these two teaming up for the final song on this EP was mwah. And just to rapid fire some quick ones I didn't get to do a full review on, Sanity Slip is a lot of fun. I really like their song with Waking the Cadaver. I just didn't want this episode to be entirely beatdown hardcore and slam. Sanity Slip. It's a good band with a really rough around the edges, just like garage band production. It's good stuff. Petroglyphs is a cool metalcore band that's kind of channeling that 2010s proggy, genty, spacey metalcore, kind of like Auras or early Northlane. Surefire also put out this EP, Endorphins, that's pretty fun. It's got some great features from Body Snatcher and even from the drummer of Victims. Definitely also check out the Metalcore Best of 2025 video that I put out last week. I thought it was really good, but like no one can watched it, so ugh. And finally, Negative Love is a pretty cool hybrid of like hardcore and alt rock. It's kind of neat. I liked it more than I thought I would, especially if you were in the mood for something softer, but still wanted some the hardcore adjacent instrumentals. And here is the entire list of all of the new metal and hardcore albums that came out this week and some from the last couple weeks, maybe. If you have a band that has an album coming out soon, as always, please feel free to DM me on any of my social channels. I'd love to take a listen if I can. Obviously, send it prior to the release date if you can. That way I can, actually review it on time. But hit me in the comments with any recommendations for things I might have missed, albums to look out for next week, or your own albums, all that kind of jazz. And I'll catch you next week for next week's Best New Albums.